Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the West Coast Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Frias Guzman. And on today's episode, I am going to be talking mainly about the Lakers as they are well underway their first playoff series for this year, going up against the Grizzlies, and ended up coming away with the first victory in Game 1, 128-112. I'll talk to you guys all about that game, let you guys know overall what I ended up seeing. Overall, just kind of what this means and what this, hopefully what they can build off of moving forward into this playoff series, and hopefully to move forward in the playoffs overall. We'll also talk a little bit about the Dodgers here as they just got done wrapping up a series against the Cubs. Unfortunately, ended up losing 2 out of the 3 games there. Welcomed Cody Bellinger back and everything, so we'll talk all about that. We'll kind of skip on the Raiders here, unfortunately, on this one, just so that we can kind of save some time and talk a little bit more about the Lakers and everything, and we'll talk about the Raiders, some of the updates and stuff that have been going on over there as the draft is right around the corner. So today is Monday, April 17th, 2023. Just recording this on an early Monday morning as I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys about these sports and wanted to make sure that I get this podcast up for you guys, as again has been some time since I've recorded a podcast, but I definitely wanted to go in and do this, get more consistent, have no excuses and everything, kind of put my Mamba mentality, if you would, even if it is a little smidge of it, that I'm trying to go and get out there, so that way I can go and just record this podcast and go ahead and put this out for you guys. So for those of you who continue to go and listen, thank you again. And for anybody who definitely wants to go ahead and pass it on and mention it to a friend or family member or something like that, or a coworker, definitely go and do so. Tell them that you can go and follow me on Instagram and on any social media, except for TikTok probably. But you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, West Coast Pod 702. On both of those are just West Coast Sports Podcast, and you'll be able to go and find me on Facebook. So with that being said, guys, I do just want to go in and take this minute to go right into the podcast and go right into the talking about the Dodgers. So with the Dodgers, as I mentioned, they did actually end up losing 2 out of the 3 games against the Cubs there, after beating the Diamondbacks 2 out of the 3 over in Arizona, and having a pretty good series against the Giants as well. The main thing here when it comes down to it, Dodgers are still kind of finding their way. The bullpen pitching hasn't been all that great, so it seems like once these starters kind of go out there, that's what overall all the teams want to get to. They want to make sure that they go past the starters, so that way they can get into the bullpen, and then they have a better chance of being able to score some runs against us. Hopefully and they're just hoping by then that our offense is maybe not clicking on all cylinders and scoring a whole lot of runs on them. Because as we do know, the Dodgers offense is very, very well this year. We have multiple games where we're scoring over even 8 runs a game, where I can't think of many games where we didn't score at least more than 5 runs. And typically in a baseball game, with the baseball team, if you're scoring that much, you're not going to lose very many games. But right now, Dodgers are 8-8 at even 500. And I gotta say, it's really just, not to go and put all the blame on the bullpen, but it's a mixture of things when it comes down really to it. The bullpen is not all that great when it comes down to it. Maybe if it is just, maybe rotating a couple players around or something like that, or maybe just signing one player. I want to say that there's a couple prospects in the minors that they could be interested in calling up and possibly seeing what they have. Now, the other thing that I can really mention when it comes down to the Dodgers is the offense. It could be really spotty at times, and not to go into bash on them or anything like that. But one of the things, you have some games where they're able to score a bunch of runs, and then you have some games you're like, are you serious? You didn't even score 1 run or more than 2? And it's like, when you see that, you definitely wish that maybe you can save I know it doesn't work this way, but hopefully you can save a couple runs, from the game before, because you blew out a team, 12-2 or something like that, just as an example, but you beat a team that badly, and then you wish you would have maybe saved even 2-3 runs, so that way you could have beat the next team or win the next game around, And it's definitely understandable when it comes down to it. I mean, often, I mean, there's no telling when when you're going to be able to get more runs. The pitcher changes, of course, and everything. So that makes the biggest difference of all. The defense out there is definitely different. So it's always going to be one of the big things that it's going to everybody's going to have to keep an eye on, especially when it comes down to the Dodgers. Just wanted to go ahead and you want to go ahead and keep a close eye exactly to see what's going to happen with the team overall. So with that being said, though, we do have a pretty big series coming up against the Mets. The Mets are one of the big teams in the league right now as well. A team that a lot of people are thinking that could have an opportunity to play deep into the playoffs and everything, and so on and so forth. So definitely a good series to keep a close eye on. Now, of course, it's really early in the season, so there's no telling what could really happen, honestly. So we'll just kind of keep an eye, and we'll talk more and more Dodgers baseball as the season goes on. So guys, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, of course, was the Lakers. Lakers ended up playing their first playoff game since they ended up getting eliminated by the Suns. So it's definitely one of the big things. Definitely an interesting thing. When it comes down to it, you have all kinds of storylines, from Rui Hachimura having a big night, 29 points in like 20 something minutes or something like that. Dude had an incredible game. You have Austin Reaves, who ended up having 23 points in his very first playoff game. Definitely a great showing from there. Overall, just the supporting cast. I mean, even just the role players, if you would, or whatever you want to call them. The others, the non-superstars, ended up coming up big. They ended up playing very well. Even D'Angelo Russell, coming back from that pretty, I don't want to say bad game, but coming back from a pretty disappointing game. Some people even say that it might have been his worst game as a Laker. And I think, yeah, maybe you can say that. I mean, it's nice that he bounced back from in a playoff game, because he does have a small amount of games that he's played in the playoffs, but D'Lo did definitely redeem himself. He played well, played within his role, played within his game. He didn't really try to force anything. He really didn't try to control the game on his own or anything like that. He just let things kind of work within the flow of the game, if you would. So definitely big ups to him on that. When it comes down to LeBron, what else can you say? The man's going to continue to go in and just wow people, because he's in his 20th season. This is his 130th, I think, or 138th, I think, or something like that. Double in the playoffs. Definitely incredible. AD 7 blocks in the game. Oh man, I don't know what else to really say. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that I can talk about. I mean, even when it comes down to with Rui, I really would want to talk about him for a little bit, just because the guy has been absolutely amazing ever since he ended up coming over to the Lakers. He has shown the little glimpses of his greatness that he's had before in the past. He's shown the reason why he was drafted so high. I believe it was 9th overall, if I'm not mistaken. And you get to kind of overall see, I mean, the guy has the physical traits, of course, right? He has the height, he has the size, he has the long arms, he has, the physical ability of being able to run pretty damn fast for the guy his size. So when you see all that, you definitely want to go in and just see that he has a skill available for it, and he really does. It's just a matter of, I mean, it's funny how the right situation, players, everybody in the NBA, sports, everything, with sports in general, people always talk about, it's all about fit. If you have the right pieces that fit together, it'll work. And it kind of works out this way when it comes down to the Lakers, because Rui Hachimura has been a player who has been looked at as, you need to be our number one option. Except for maybe these past couple of years when he's been with the Washington Wizards. With the Wizards, that's what he was drafted as, to be that number one option. At the very least, a number two option. After maybe Bradley Beal, that's what he definitely was. Then it turned into a couple other players were there. I mean, you had John Wall, who was out there for a little bit. Not that he played a whole lot, but you had other people basically that were listed as the number one, maybe number two. And not to go to, I don't know if it's a soft spot for him or anything like that, or for, not that he would be listening, of course, but You have Kyle Kuzma, who ended up going over there from the Lakers, of course, and kind of in a way ended up taking over his spot in a way. But with Rui, when he's not looked upon as that number one option, when he's not really looked upon like that, and he can be a player that just fits in his role, and even today though, I mean, he was looked upon. They found him. He ended up knocking down shots. He found him, and he ended up finding ways to go and even drive into the middle. He had two incredible dunks, especially that one that he had all over Jaren Jackson Jr., driving right past Devin, or what was it, Devin Books. God, I can't. Brooks, I think. I don't even know. I don't know. Whatever. The guy who has a loud ass mouth. But anyways, the guy with the braids and everything was super loud and whatever. But anyways, him ended up driving right past him, and Jaren Jackson Jr. just dunked all over them. Definitely a great, just a great performance overall from him. And he's been able to show how he has all these different skills and abilities at a guy his size, and how he can put it all together. I just definitely hope he keeps it up. I don't expect maybe another 29-point game or something like that, but if he can continue to just show the greatness that he has, knock down those jumpers, be able to go in and drive, go to the rim with force, and I think even with his shot, it even looks a little bit different. There's plenty of times on Spectrum Sportsnet's broadcast for the games over the regular season. Stu Lance, one of the commentary guys, I'm pretty sure if you guys are Laker fans, you know who I'm talking about. But one of the commentary guys on there for Spectrum Sportsnet, Stu Lance, he always talks about how anytime he puts a shot up, he always mentioned how his shot's a little flat, and you definitely can understand. I mean, you definitely want to have a guy who's shooting a little bit better or something like that, but when it comes down to it, you definitely can understand where he's coming from. His shot was a little flat. This game, it was definitely not flat. You definitely saw a little bit more on on it, and you definitely got to see it fall down more. He even has that beautiful turnaround jumper that he ends up having, kind of like how LeBron does sometimes, where he's right along the baseline, he turns towards the baseline, falling back, and nothing but net. It's definitely a nice group of little skills. It's a great skill set that he has overall. So again, just really hoping that he can continue to go and improve, or continue to just show the greatness that he has. So we'll see everything on Wednesday when it comes down to that game. Last thing I really just wanted to go to mention about last night's game. Of course, we definitely saw that Ja ended up going down for a little bit. I believe it was in the fourth quarter when he went out. Definitely bad to go and see that. I hope he definitely gets recovered and he ends up coming back for the next game. I mean, some people can definitely say that maybe he would have made a difference, or maybe that would have been the reason. Maybe the game would have been closer or something like that, or maybe they would have actually won. That's a whole lot of maybes. And I mean, it's one of the things with Ja Morant, the way he's a high flyer, the way he always goes up into the air super high and everything. It's bound to happen at some point where he hits the floor and it's not going to be pretty. It's one of the things that a lot of people are worried about with a lot of these high flyers, especially guys like the guy who has been kind of compared to a lot, like Allen Iverson. Same thing, dude got a whole lot. He was a high flyer. He was actually able to jump up pretty damn high for a dude his size and everything. So definitely one of the things that you can, not just appreciate, but definitely one of the things that you can admire the guy. But sad to go and see that he got hurt. You definitely hope that he can definitely play, because otherwise it kind of makes, I don't know, it still makes the series interesting, but you definitely want to go and see both teams healthy as possible, so that way you get the best game possible. Because overall that's what I think this series is going to be, because it's not like a 2 versus 7. It's more of like a 2 versus 3 or 2 versus 4 kind of a thing. It's not two upper tier teams, I think, in my opinion, that are going up against each other. So the other thing here, guys, I did want to just kind of give a quick little shout out to Austin Reaves. My boy ended up doing an amazing job. 23 points in his very first playoff game. You got to give props to the guy. One of the things, I mean, the guy has just shown so much improvement in so many different ways. I mean, that behind the back pass all the way to the 3-point line, absolutely amazing. His ability to control the ball and to control the game, even at late game situations like that, definitely incredible. I mean, it's great to have another guy like that you can trust with the ball in his hands. Not only do you have LeBron, of course, and D'Lo, even to an extent Anthony Davis, and then even Dennis Schroeder. But then you have Austin Reaves out there who you can also trust to have the ball in his hands. Like, come on now, like that's something special. To go ahead and have that many guys that you can trust with the ball in their hands, from either getting their own shot or setting up somebody else, that's awesome to have. When it comes down to it, I mean, I think even Rui and even Austin Reaves were kind of they were dictating, or they were actually calling, they were having to be double teamed by the other team. They were forcing double teams on them. So definitely great to go in and see something like that. When you have that many players that can force a team to double team them, it's like pick your poison. Who do you want to go in and destroy you today? Do you want it to be LeBron, AD, who are still going to get theirs no matter what? They're just not going to get like a 30 plus point game. They're going to be in their 20s. But then you have Rui, you have Austin, you have D'Lo, you have even Troy Brown to an extent, you have even Dennis, you have all these different players that can go ahead and come up with big games. And it's definitely going to be interesting to go and see even Jared Vanderbilt, showing that he has that bit of a scoring ability. So even if that guy can get hot, you set him up pretty much enough, he has a hot shooting night, and that's another guy that can go off for 20 plus. So it really is going to be a pick your poison kind of a deal when these teams are going up against the Lakers. Now, we can only talk about the Lakers the Lakers going up against the Grizzlies for right now. And so we'll just have to go in and see what happens Wednesday night. I am going to be definitely doing either a little bit of a preview that Wednesday morning, and that way so we can do a little bit of preview of that game and just kind of go on from there. But I'll just kind of go from there. I am going to be trying at least to do three episodes a week, so that way it can at least be somewhat consistent. So we'll talk again on Wednesday after all that. So guys, again, Lakers ended up having a really great game, 128-112. A great way to start off the series, great way to start off this playoff series, so that way they can go on. I really think, in my opinion, that way so I'm not leaving it for next week or for next podcast, I'm thinking this is going to be maybe a gentleman sweep. I don't want to sound disrespectful, say that they're going to sweep them in 4, but I think Lakers in 5, just to be nice. But I really think that the Lakers should win this series, unless if something crazy happens. But for the most part, I think the Lakers should be able to go in and win in 5. So let me know what you guys think. Definitely go ahead and don't hesitate to go and send me any kind of DMs on any of my social medias. Let me know what you think about my prediction. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, if you guys want to talk anything about sports or anything from there, and I'll love to go ahead and respond to any of you on social media from there. And speaking of social media, guys, I do just want to mention really quick, don't hesitate to go ahead and follow 2 other pages. One being my wife's page. It is Rosie's Designs EST 2022. If you have any kind of questions or have any kind of birthdays, events, or celebrations going on, definitely don't hesitate to go and drop a follow, because you will be excited and you will be happy you did so. My wife makes these incredible chip bags, all kinds of different designs. I did actually post something as well on my page as well. So if you have any kind of questions or would like to go and see more, I can definitely send you some on my page as well. But any questions on it, definitely go and definitely drop a follow. You'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But they are customized chip bags where you can come up with any kind of designs and to fit any kind of occasion, any kind of celebration. So definitely drop a follow. And again, it's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. Lastly, guys, I do just want to go ahead and just mention my sponsor for today's podcast, and it is Pro Dough Shop. So Pro Dough Shop, it's a great company when it comes down to it. They are a protein. They developed a protein powder that is not only just, of course, for working out and so on and so forth. Somebody who's trying to get bulk up a little bit and everything, but they use the same technology, the same recipe from this protein powder that they have in their desserts and all kinds of pastries and everything they can think of. So super healthy, super good for you, high in protein, low in carbs, low in sugar. Not gonna go in and get you thinking all kinds of regret and everything and all that, So, and they have anything from cakes, pastries, cookies, anything, you name it. So if you are interested or would like to know more, definitely go and drop a follow for them. It is Pro Dough Shop, PRODOUGHSHOP. I'll be tagging them on my social media as well, along with all kinds of hashtags that they like as well. So if you have any questions, definitely go and check out my social media, and you'll be able to get a link to their page and everything on there as well. So again, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to today's podcast. I do appreciate every single one of you, and definitely go ahead and share this with any of your loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, and so on and so forth. Until next time, take care, love, peace.